Welcome to Good Whiskey Gaming, and this is my late review of Rollerdrome. I played on the PS5, it's also available on the PS4 and PC. So we will start off with the story. You play as Kara Hassan, and you are basically participating in the newest extremist of extreme sports, where you roller skate around and kill people, and they try and kill you. Now, there are a few actual story elements to this game. It's not just going level to level, but those are generally experienced through like these first-person segments between legs of the competition, I guess you'd call them. And you kind of explore an area, you can read documents, you can find out what's going on in the world, you can find out what's going on with the tournament. There is some other levels to it. But this is one of those games where the story really isn't the most gripping element of it. It's really about the gameplay. Now let's get into the audio, and I gotta say the audio design is actually really well done. I really like the sound effects. I think they work well with this pseudo-futuristic, not that far in the futuristic game that's going on, or setting. And the music is this total synthwave stuff, and I think it actually really works with the vibe and the art style, which I'll get into later, obviously. As for the voiceover, there's not a ton of it, but I do think the announcer does a really good job, and once again, it really fits with the overall vibe of the game. Now let's get into the gameplay mechanics and whatnot, and this is a third-person extreme sports action shooter? I mean, that's the best way I can describe it. You go into a level, you take out the various enemies, you unlock new weapons the further you get in the game, and really the most unique element to this game is the way you get more ammo, is you jump up ramps and grind and you do tricks in the air and just that is how you get ammo. Also, if you perform perfect dodges, you will get ammo. So it's a combination of busting tricks and shooting enemies. And then at the end of each level, you get a score based on your kills, your speed, and the points of the tricks you do. There are also challenges, like Tony Hawk style challenges for each level, and that is actually important because not unlike Tony Hawk, that is how you unlock the next level. So there is quite a bit of replayability to this. I'm also going to say I found this to be a very challenging game. Maybe I just sucked at it, entirely possible, but I did find it to be very challenging, and there were times where I definitely got frustrated and felt like I was beating my face against a wall. Like, overall, I did enjoy that challenge, but there were times where it definitely was, Let's get into the controls, and the first thing I am going to say is the camera control is very good, but I do wish it would reset to behind you a little more quickly than it does. I mean, you obviously don't want to like aim to your left, release it, and then it just whip back to the middle, but it could be a little sooner than it does. That being said, it's not destructive to the game. Obviously, you have full control over the camera, this being a third-person shooter, and the aiming is actually really solid in this game. So is the movement. It's a little hard to get used to because generally when you think third-person shooter, your camera also turns your body, but that's not how it functions in this game because it's also an extreme sports game. And that is a little difficult to get used to at times, but you will get over it, and honestly, it's a very responsive game. I didn't have any complaints with it doing what I needed it to do when I wanted it to do it. Now let's get into the graphics and visuals, and I'm going to say this is one of those like cel-shaded, very cartoony, very animated looking games, which very much works with the entire vibe of what they're doing. The whole synthwave vibe that they're going for, it adds a kind of less dark element to what's going on. Because when you think about it, you're literally participating in a blood sport where it's like, hey, I'm throwing cool tricks and shooting people. So giving it a cartoony element kind of lessens that dark nature and makes it a more fun and enjoyable and lighthearted experience. And I gotta say, I actually really enjoy the designs just of everything. I think the levels are well thought out. There's a lot of space. There's a lot of space to do tricks. There's a lot of space to maneuver around your enemies. But there's also plenty of places to do your grinds, do your tricks, and get your ammo back, as well as, that just works. It comes together very well. And it generally has a very good flow, which in an action sports game is very important, but in a game where you also have to take out enemies, it's even more important to have a really good flow. Then you've got the enemy design, which just fits, again, very much with that aesthetic, this kind of weird 80s over-the-top, synthwave, animated aesthetic. That all just comes together very well from a visual standpoint. It's bright and colorful rather than being boring and drab, so you need that in a game like this where it's supposed to be kind of cartoony and over the top. So I think that just worked very well together. Okay, so to wrap this up, I had a good time with this game. I actually got it at 20 bucks because that's what it is right now. That's what it is when I'm making this video. That's what it is at launch, or was at launch. But its full price is $30, and I gotta say, I wouldn't have a problem paying that. I had a good time with it. There's definitely replayability there. I'm going to go back and play this game some more at some point and try and complete more of the challenges. And because it's just generally a pretty damn fun game. So yeah, I don't really have a problem recommending this. Okay, so in the comments down below, why don't you tell me what's your favorite movie where they have some kind of like crazy, weird, like futuristic blood sport? You know, like rollerball or something like that. Or death race. And as always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. And if you like what I'm doing in general, share and subscribe. Have a good one.